The prisoners we work with through the Human Rights Project represent a particularly vulnerable group of people with much higher rates of mental disability, substance abuse, HIV, hepatitis C, and many of them are at a much greater risk of suicide than the general Canadian population. We receive about 250 phone calls a year from clients with a variety of human rights and healthcare issues who are seeking our assistance. Without the continued funding for the Human Rights Project, we currently have many clients who would be left basically on their own.
I developed post-traumatic stress disorder due to prolonged sensory deprivation, having been kept in segregation, stabbed through the throat by another offender, repeatedly cell extracted at least 6 to 8 times from the psychiatric hospital here back to segregation at Kent Institution. During the cell extractions, I was often taken by surprise, sprayed with organic inflammatory agents, and forcibly removed from my cell and transferred from the psychiatric hospital while I was engaging in the self-harm of headbanging.
Many of the clients we deal with who do have mental disabilities and are placed in segregation are at great risk of harming themselves and engaging in continued self-harm.
Headbanging is directly related to PTSD, flashbacks, and panic attacks. I believe that I bang my head to disassociate myself from my traumatic memories of those types of experiences. During some of the incidents where I banged my head, I actually lost consciousness, and blood came from my ears and my eyes and my nose, because I was banging my head into metal and concrete objects with such force that it ruptured blood vessels in my frontal lobes. Only after much advocacy on my behalf, I eventually received psychiatric care. If PLS did not have the funding to assist people like me, I would have likely languished in isolation and died from my head injuries.
As well as seeking individual remedies for our clients, the project is always working to secure systemic remedies. We'd like to see change on a bigger policy level so that all prisoners can benefit from the work that we do for every individual client.
I'm actually paraplegic, and I was in prison in a wheelchair. When I was sent to Kent Institution, there was no elevators or wheelchair access to the units. There was no way for me to safely escape in the case of a fire or a riot situation. My safety was in jeopardy as well as my well-being. I was forced to drag myself from the center entrance area of Kent Institution up and down the stairs every day on my backside, one stair at a time. My shower facilities were not up to standard for anything that a human would want to bathe themselves in for the entire time I was there. Without prisoner legal services, they would just do what they want, and a lot of things wouldn't be addressed, and a lot of people would suffer probably because of that. Now they do have a wheelchair accessible unit, and I'm happy for anybody that doesn't have to go through what I went through when I went there.
Any donation that you can make will really assist us in continuing to do this important work. If we can respect the human rights of prisoners, then we can really respect the human rights of everyone in Canada.